A couple of decades ago, the only way to put stupid power in a small truck was with one of these. A blown 408 small block Chevy pumping out 786 horsepower. This 1988 S10 only came with a small 4-cylinder or V6, and stuffing something like this in meant lots of modification, money, and time. The end result, not very drivable, more in tune for the strip. Well, times have changed. The introduction of the LS made it possible to gain a huge amount of power with very little weight gain. Conversions require minimum modification and a much smaller parts list. Not to mention the list of benefits: better mileage, better emissions, more reliability, and a whole lot of power.
Here's some killer trucks that were built by a friend of ours, Scott Hamlin. His work can be seen in Sport Truck magazine, where his 08 Colorado SS was featured. His conversions are known for being super clean and appearing like they came from the factory this way. He even does the unthinkable, swapping an LS1 into a Geo Tracker. We asked him to join us on today's project, which is putting this used 5.3-liter LS that was bought for $800 into this. Rick Bacon's 1998 Blazer. Not a fitting ride for the arsonist. In fact, he bought the engine and was going to do the swap himself. But we owed him a favor, and it gives us a chance to work on something a little different. Our first SUV in the shop, and we're doing an LS swap in it. It's
Cool.
yours. Tell me a little about it.
Well, it's a 1998 Blazer, and it's been a great little family truckster. It's got a 4.3 in it, but it's got almost 200,000 miles on it now. She's getting a little tired.
Yeah?
Well, I figure if the motor's getting worn out, I ain't putting the time and money into putting another 4.3 into that thing. You know, if you're gonna swap it out, you gotta go bigger.
You gotta make me one deal.
What's that?
When we get done putting the 5.3, the wheels gotta go.
Come on now, you hating on the rallies?
Man, I ain't hating on the rallies. They gotta go. I'm doing worse than hating. Let me explain. It's not the look of the wheels, it's the fact that they're made of steel and notorious for getting bent. See what I mean? And just for fun, we're gonna see how much power Rick's parts hauler can wobble down the pavement.
Oh man, a whopping 140 horsepower. Let's get this thing out of here. Now it's time to put this thing where it belongs, over on the lift. Mike can start thrashing away, pulling parts out for the engine and trans removal. We lucked up by getting Scott to pitch in on this LS swap. He's been through the drill before with just about every application you can imagine. Of course, it always starts with the teardown.
The stock harness is no good to us. Since we're going into the Blazer, there's a company out there that actually makes a direct snap-in harness to make this Blazer conversion go.
That company, called Current Performance Wiring, makes these for all types of conversions. This one's about 800 bucks.
Everything is OEM connection. Just plug it in, turn the key, start it up and drive it.
This engine came out of a full-size truck, requiring more conversion than if it came from a car.
All the bolt-ons of this long block are completely different than the Camaro. Therefore, we're going to change all of that by putting the Camaro intake on it, Corvette accessory drive. We've got some headers for it. By looking at the engine, you'll think it came out of a Corvette when it's all said and done. Got it without breaking it.
We're throwing another curve at him today. He's never put an LS in a four-wheel drive Blazer before.
There have been people who claim they've done this to a four-wheel drive and claim, hey, you know, it's no problem, easy fix, blah, 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 but hey, we know better than that.
It's the added components to this drivetrain that could hurt us. Plus, we're not confident that old 4L60 tranny can handle the power we're going to feed it. Okay, never used a tire for a tranny stand. We got some outside help for that, too.
I believe it's going to work out pretty good for a makeshift stand.
Andy Mays is a die-hard Mopar guy and drag racer, but he's also a whiz with transmissions no matter what they're behind. He's tearing into this tranny like a chicken plucker on the assembly line. Glad he's not a heart surgeon.
They look good. You got to look for a lot of things that break sometimes. You know, as we're taking this apart, you know, I'm looking at the clutches, I'm looking at this, I'm going to look at this sprag, and, you know, we're going to look at a lot of different things. But as far as first impression, so far so good.
And we can say the same for our 4.3 removal.
Sure you got everything?
I hope.
With some loving care and some finesse.
You got to shoot through them.
Look at that. All of our teardown for this project is done. And the real challenge has just begun.
Somebody go get Rick, tell him his Blazer's ready.
We're back with our LS conversion. Rick's Blazer got washed, while the engine got a new tray, pickup, and pan. It's a stock replacement for the Camaro, and should help out by giving us additional clearance underneath. These taller custom mounts could help as well.
Let's shove it in. All right, come on back. All right, ease down a little bit. A little more, we'll tip it back. All right, come on down.
Those new mounts and pan help clear the front differential,
Come on down. All right.
but that's about it.
Man, the back of that thing's it's awful high.
That's the only thing that's holding it from falling backwards, too.
Yeah, sitting against the AC box. I don't like how top of the bell housing area on the block is so high in relationship to the firewall.
Yeah, we need to get this thing up in there and look at it. The bell housing bolts are already, look like they're too high. Let's see how much clearances we have. Not even close. It's nowhere close to going on. We looked to be about 2.5 inches.
All right, you just saw the clearance issues we ran into. Now we got two options here, and the first one is down in this box to fix it. And that's using a 2-inch body lift kit on the vehicle. Now what this does is it actually spaces the body away from the chassis. Now that takes away from stability and drivability of the vehicle, plus it'll look a little odd. So our other option is the way we're gonna go. And that's using 2-wheel drive LS swap mounts on the engine and lowering it down that way. Now that is going to give us some clearance issues on the oil pan and the front differential, which we're just going to notch the oil pan and re-weld it up. Now that'll give us the clearance to move it down, have the bell housing bolt up, and move forward with the swap.
While Plan B gets underway on the engine,
You ready? Yep.
Andy found no surprises with the 4L60. Most parts show little wear, but some get replaced with an upgrade kit from TCI.
And there's our sunshade. The sunshade is one of the leading causes of failures in a 4L60, okay? They either strip the teeth out of them or it breaks the whole ring off of them. This is a new one that's going back in it. It's called the Beast.
Fitting name because of the reinforced ring compared to the stock. And these factory teeth, they simply can't compare. It also uses Torrington bearings for less drag and a wider band for more grip. It's amazing watching Andy work. What's his secret?
To me, it's a hydraulic system. You know, and if I keep it in my head, it's just a hydraulic system. A pump, a reservoir, fluid, and I try to keep it simple in my head, and it always seems to work out pretty good.
Simplicity is out the window for Mike and Scott. Will it work? We'll find out in a minute. We're back and on our second attempt to shove an LS into a 4x4 Blazer. The first try cleared the differential, but set the engine way too high. So with some scrap aluminum, a TIG welder, and patience, Mike and Scott are done with their oil pan modification.
Oil pan turned out pretty good. Clears the pickup, clears the frame.
A lot clears the differential.
Yes.
And we're trying it again with shorter engine mounts.
Nope. Way off.
Maybe that 4.3 wasn't so bad after all. Looks like a Plan C is in the making. Andy, however, is finishing up on the trans upgrades. As good as he is, he's not too proud to follow the instructions.
You always make sure your balls are in the correct place.
What advice for the guy at home who wants to try to do this?
Bring it to me and pay me to do it. No, actually, you know, maybe go to the junkyard, get a couple of these units, tear them apart, getting familiar with them, and buying a real good manual. Peace, I'm out of here.
There's no peace for Scott and Mike yet, but here's the plan. Take another chunk out of the pan. Before filling it in, we'll hang the engine where it needs to be and check the clearance.
All right, you're good.
Since our motor mounts didn't work, Scott is cutting the needed 2.5 inches off the bottoms of the originals and then hangs them on the block.
It's not my first rodeo with the S series, but it is with the 4-wheel drive. But I think we've got it all licked now.
Confidence is running high, so Mike burns up the last few pounds of argon to finish off the pad. With the LS back in place and resting on what's left of the mounts,
You're good.
we're adding an 1800 stall TCI converter to Andy's masterpiece, which now has plenty of clearance to bolt up in its proper place.
All right, I'm in.
That's where she needs to be.
It looks like we finally found our sweet spot.
It's just a matter of tweaking.
Yeah, plenty on the firewall. We got enough on the heater box.
Oil pan looks good. It's
Oil
clean.
pan's clearing real nice, yeah.
That looks level. Actually, Mike, that looks level right there.
Once everything is in the perfect spot, simply weld the mounts to the frame.
Customization, you know, everyone knows customization. You're going to run into issues, and sometimes a quick fix isn't always the best fix. Sometimes it's just easier to, you know, bite the bullet, do a little fabrication, and in the long run you'll have a better product, it'll look factory, and you'll be happier with it down the road. But the good thing about it, this is my first four-wheel drive and my last one.
You're watching Horsepower. For a DVD copy of this episode, just go to PowerBlockTV.com and order your copy for just $5.95 plus shipping and handling. Start your own Horsepower collection, delivered right to your door from the Power Block.
Year One is best known for its restoration parts that enthusiasts buy to bring muscle cars back to life. You can see a lot of them at their car shows held monthly at the company headquarters. This one held on a September Saturday is special. First of all, celebrity car designer Chip Poose is here.
You did a beautiful job on this car.
Start young.
And money raised goes to a research foundation for progeria, a rare genetic fatal disease that attacks children like Sam Burns.
Now, Sam's parents are both doctors, so what they did, of course, the first thing is they went to the literature and they said, okay, well, what's going on? What's going on with the research, with the progress of this disease? And unfortunately, they found out that nothing was happening.
Progeria is very dear to my heart. I had a sister, Amy, who had progeria. And, you know, we didn't have Progeria Foundation to help Amy. But we've got it today, and it's amazing what you guys are doing, and thank you so much. And thank you all for being here and helping us in this drive.
At the Friday night kickoff for the Brazelton Bash, local citizens paid $1,000 each to play poker and other games of chance for prizes.
Each one of you is special tonight. Thank you.
The next morning, 100 car guys had shelled out $100 each to hang out with Chip and smile for the camera. Meanwhile, hot rodders from around the country were arriving to support a cool car show with a cause. Year One President Kevin King helped pioneer the Hot Rodders Children's Charities Organization.
One really large event was at John Force's place, and people came out and drove for that from out west. Just kind of blew us away. Great hospitality, and the money there went to the Darrell Gwynn Foundation, which benefits children who need wheelchairs. And then this one here, of course, today, again for the Hot Rodders Children's Charity in Georgia, is going to benefit the Progeria Research Foundation.
The event was full of cool, restored, and modified Chevys, Mustangs, and such. But it's the oddball stuff that often gets the most attention. Like this trailer-toting old Studebaker, now with a Hemi to help it haul. Or Jim Dorsey's hand-built 1928 Ford Speedster.
It's a Model A frame, front end and rear end. It has a B engine, which is 32, that's modified. It's got 1935 40-spoke Kelsey Hayes wheels on it. And then I hand-built the stainless steel body. And I wanted a stainless steel car, so that's the way you get one, I guess, is to build it. This is the spark control, just like Model A has. It sets the timing up and down on your spark, your advance. And this is your throttle. You can, if you're going down a straight road, you can pull it down just like cruise control.
A couple of car builders from Ottawa, Canada came down in what had to be the ultimate showstopper. A 1968 Camaro powered by a 540 cubic inch, 765 horsepower engine. Stefan and Oliver are French-speaking, but car talk is kind of universal.
Yeah, it's a race car. We do lapping with the cars at Circuit Mont-Tremblant in Quebec, Canada. And we go to the show, and he's a daily driver too.
Oh, wow. Is it bad?
Yeah. It's rapid.
Yes.
Very fast. very fast. Yeah.
Of course, you don't have to spend a fortune to get attention. Tommy Parker with the frugal route building this 71 Bug, now with a 350 up front, no less. He even added touches like a tilting, telescoping steering wheel. Okay, right now it's time for What Is It? All right, here's the hint. The model year is 1966. It came with a 327 cubic inch engine, and it's not a Mopar. All right, time's up.
The 66 AMC Ambassador 990 convertible. Pretty rare piece, only one of about 1,200 with this V8 motor combination. And it was really just meant to be a driver, but we just had so much fun with the car. It gets a lot of attention because it's usually, what is it?
Yep.
And,
not the first, am I?
No, you're not the first.
This long line is not for the concession stand. No, it's full of fans waiting for an autograph from our own Courtney Hansen and, of course, Chip.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you. Have a great day.
Who tirelessly gives time to support progeria research that recently has revealed information that could help us all someday.
And they die of heart disease at an average age of 13. The same heart disease that you or I may be afflicted with, but in our 60s or 70s or even 80s. So these children have a remarkable, very unique insight. They gave researchers an insight into really heart disease that afflicts millions of people worldwide, as well as the aging process that, of course, affects us all.
Hot rodders take a lot of heat for building high horsepower, gas-consuming, sometimes noisy street machines. But events like this remind you that inside every car person, there's usually a big, generous heart.
No matter where we go, California, up north, out west, south, it doesn't matter. They always come out and they always give. It's phenomenal.